Welcome back to Inside Diamond. Today on this episode, we're going to be talking about CBA baseball season, ups and downs of the season, and the season for our guest today, Jack Mckeon. Welcome to the podcast, Jack.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing?
Doing all right, A little worried about finals, but it's all right.
I know big season for CBA baseball this year.
Yeah.
How was it for you, and what were some of your biggest accomplishments?
Well, for me, so this year I actually got called up for varsity, which was pretty big for me. Probably my favorite moment. Towards the end of the year, didn't play, but it was still a cool experience to be with those guys. But during the most of the season, I think we had a really good JV season. We only lost like two games, I think. So that was a really big accomplishment. But I think I had a really good season, hitting wise. I really got my pull game better. My power got a lot better. I was hitting the ball a lot harder than I was last season, so that was really good to see. But I think the biggest thing for me was my outfield because I was not that good last year. I was fast, but I couldn't. I was kind of overthinking everything, and this year I kind of just went back to like basic, like 7-year-old baseball, just like go for the ball, make plays, and that's what I kind of thought about, and that's what I did. And I didn't make a single error this season in the field. Um, I was a lot better. Like it had me in center, which was good. So that was probably my biggest accomplishment was just getting better in the outfield because I needed to do that definitely.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, big opportunity to be called up to varsity. I mean, even if you're not playing, that's still like a great
Yeah, definitely,
accomplishment.
definitely.
And I feel like, especially like you just said, with your fielding, I feel like in any sport, there's always those times you got to take a step back and just think of it as
Yeah,
as
because like
simple as you can.
yeah, and like at high school sports, you can kind of get caught up like this is like all nerve wracking, especially like at the JV varsity level. So you just kind of got to go back to like where you're most comfortable in playing the sport. Remember, it's just a game at the end of the day. So if you can just go back to that, it makes everything 10 times easier.
Yeah, I mean, I know personally, I was like, you gotta think I'm playing a game. I'm out
Yeah.
here trying to have fun, you know.
Hmm.
Although I gotta take it serious at the same time, but I
Yeah.
gotta still make sure that I'm having fun or my team's having fun. So I feel
Hmm.
like that's probably the main part of it all.
Definitely, 100%, and that'll get your confidence up too, which will help your play.
Definitely. Overall, how was the season for the team? Like, was it better than you expected? Were they worse? Were they on par? What'd you think?
Well, for JV, I think we had a very good season. Struggled in tournament at the end a little bit, but I think we had very good. We were very close knit group. I feel like for the most part because we had a very core about like 9 or 10 sophomores on the team that kind of just have been together for a while. Um, so that kind of gave us success a lot because we could all just count on each other. We didn't. No one ever got mad. We all picked each other up throughout the entire season. But for varsity, I think we underachieved a little bit, maybe. That's fine. That happens. We definitely struggled against RBC this year when one pitcher just had us, and that happens. We played very competitive games. State final losing to St. Augustine was definitely something that hurt, but it happens. It's baseball. Like we had the lead in that game, and I remember being in the dugout. I was like, we're gonna get this. We're gonna get a third shot at RBC. This is great. And it just didn't happen. We kind of blew it. One thing led to another, and we ended up losing the game on a walk off, which sucked. And we had to take that 2 hour bus ride um, back to CBA from St. Augustine, and they were celebrating. And we were all tearing up. It was very sad for the seniors, especially because it was the last game. But the one good thing I would say about the seniors was a lot of their younger players, got a lot of good experience for us. So I think next year we can kind of build off that. And plus, I feel like the feeling losing RBC twice in these tournaments and losing that weight at St. Augustine will definitely fuel us for next season and get us ready and have something to like kind of motivate us throughout the season.
So you're thinking that next season you guys are probably going to come back stronger and better
I
than this
mean,
season.
we're losing a ton of um
Seniors,
starters in the field,
starters.
definitely. But we'll have our main guy Lavonis back. So if he's on the mound, we can win any game easily. And some of our sophomores and freshmen who like just didn't have that much confidence. I feel like going into next year can have just that year of varsity experience under their belt and kind of just be like, okay, I'm here. I know it's like I can now go to work and like do what I can do best. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be a struggle, especially I feel like early on because we're not gonna have that core group of like seniors that we had last year that kind of brought everyone together. But at the same time, I feel like we can kind of grow. I feel like our like our youth will be definitely good because we'll be like more almost like hungry a little bit like, after seeing what happened last year or this past year. So I don't know if we'll be better. I feel like this year our talent was probably better than we'll have next year, but I feel like we'll have definitely like more experience and definitely more hunger, I feel like, for these younger players.
Yeah, I know completely what you're talking about that core with your seniors because
Yeah.
last season for volleyball we had I think it was 8 or 9 seniors, and
Yeah.
like majority of them are starting, and
Mhm.
that's a lot for a team that's just made up of 12.
Yeah.
And
Especially,
so
yeah.
we lost a lot of players,
Mhm.
but and
There's just
so
some upgrades.
this season
Yeah.
really thought it was going to be rebuilding year, and we
Mhm.
didn't think it was going to be good at all, but somehow made states,
Yeah.
made an
That's
upset.
very well too.
And like you said for baseball, I think our freshman group is really looking probably one
Strong.
of the best in a couple
Yeah.
of years, and the next season looks like it'd be pretty promising for us.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we kind of want as a program. We want the future to be good. We want to be building up to those next years. So,
Definitely, yeah. Um, Throughout the whole season, what was your favorite memory, your favorite part of the whole season?
I mean, getting that call up to varsity was definitely pretty special. But if I had to choose one moment, it's definitely going on that Albany trip with the JV guys. That was just really cool going up there, spending overnight with those guys playing poker all night. It was just really cool. And then playing obviously doubleheader in a really nice field was just really special. And I feel like I won't forget that for as long as I live. It wasn't like that big. There's nothing special about it. It's just like that bonding that we had, the fun we had. It could be replaced. Like that bus ride was awesome. Like Coach E, Coach Reynolds, really great guys. We had a great time with them. And so that was probably the best moment because it was just different. It was no one really. I feel like no other sport for the most part gets to kind of do that. So I feel like it was very special to me, like to be part of that and to kind of go up there and spend that time with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, but from what I saw from all the snacks you guys had, the big bins,
Yeah,
all the food, and how excited you guys were, it did look like
yeah,
the whole
we had
team
a
was
great
really just all together and ready for something like that.
Yeah, and it was just it brought us together even more for the rest of the season too. It just bonded us. Became I mean, I talked to some kids that like I never really talked to previously, which is just really it's really cool. I mean, obviously spending the night with some kids on my team who I won't mention, but was a bit of a struggle, but I definitely enjoyed it. It was really one of the coolest experience I've had.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jack, for your input on how the season went for you and as a team as a whole. Um,
Well,
that's it. That it for this episode. Thanks for coming on, Jack.
thank you for
Appreciate
having me.
it. That's all for this episode of Inside Diamond. Today we talked about Jack McKeon's baseball season and CBA's JV and varsity baseball season. We also talked how the future looks for CBA baseball. But that's all for this episode of Inside Diamond. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.